and down to Neff. And there's another option. You can just go across the road from where his hydrant is, go across the road and along Kip Banger's field there. And that would help two other water users. Duke has a share in Daniel's Culinary, and the Staffanos have a share. So there's 3 lines on that side of the street, and really none on my side of the street that you're going to take the pipe through. Neff, I just talked to him before I came in here, and he says that he's, Rob Armstrong was talking to him about his water tastes better, you know, and it's cheaper. And so he hasn't made his mind up. He's not sure he wants the water. So why not put that line over there? Then you're not digging through. The place you want to dig through, there's a gas line in that same easement. There's an electrical line in that same easement. And the easement, like on our property, we own clear over to the other side of the road. We have 20 feet of that, 22 feet of that road is on our property. So there's nothing on the other side of the road. No, they're not even meeting. It's halfway in the middle of the road. So my proposal is go across the road from where it is right now, take care of the Staffanos and Dukes. They already have their hydrants, and Kip has a hydrant, so you got 3 hydrants there.
So if you look at the subdivision for the Rocky East subdivision, that's Dukes and Kips, it shows the utility easements on the other side of the road, so you do have easements there.
So we looked at the easements when we designed it, and generally I like to keep the water line on one side of the road, keep the utility corridors the same throughout, because when we start crossing lines, it gets complicated and messy very quickly. And so when we looked at that, the plan is to put the water line right off the edge of asphalt, which if the utilities that they sent me are correct, which is why we're having Blue Stake so I can confirm, there should be a corridor there that is not as far off of the asphalt as the gas line currently is, but it would keep it on that same side of the road so that we're not crossing.
There, that's all.
And it appears from looking at the right-of-ways that we would be well within the existing right-of-way. So I agree with the 22 feet, but it's, then there's 30 feet back gives us 22, 7 or 8 feet there, and we're talking about being right off the edge of asphalt. There's only a couple. They would have to close one lane, obviously, to do the work.
That gas line is right off the edge of the asphalt on our side. So
that might change things, and that's why we had it marked. But the plans they sent me show it in a different location, show it way back at the very edge of the right-of-way, about 8 feet off the asphalt. And if that's correct, that's why I put the line right next to the asphalt. Why we Blue Stake is because a lot of times that's not right.
It also, don't you have to allow a certain distance between the gas line and the water line and an electrical line?
No, the only criteria is that there's certainly each city has a standard for how, for a buildable distance. The only state code I'm aware of is the water and sewer can't be in the same trench. There's plumbing codes regarding electrical and power, but I'm not aware of anything regarding water and power or water and gas. Obviously, we'd like to keep them far enough apart that when you're digging up a water line, we don't hit the gas and vice versa.
So you have a 30-foot easement on that side of the road. 22 feet of it already is part of the road.
Right.
And so then the other 8 feet, you have 2 lines running in there already. It just makes more sense just to go across the road. I'm not interested right now in hooking up to the water line, and I doubt Neff is. Why would you want it on our side?
corridor preservation. So when we get water lines that are going back and forth across the road,
That
it makes it
don't-
really hard to get anything in the future. And that was why, you know, remember on, when we did the big water line project, we had a gas line that did that. It went across the road, went down about 300 feet, went back across the road, went down 300 feet, went back. And we made them fix it.
Well, they did that with the water line on the big hollow.
And
And
that's-
house is right in front of my house.
And it certainly happened.
Right
but-
after they hit the gas line.
But when we do that, it makes it really hard to figure out, to get future utilities in, and so
Yeah.
you're shooting yourself, you can very easily shoot yourself in the foot. There's certainly places where it's done, and if the gas line is right off the asphalt and we don't have any more easement, there's certainly reasons why we may have to do that. Looking at the utilities the way they were drawn on the map, it looked like there was plenty of room to keep it down on that side of the asphalt, and I think that makes more sense from a corridor preservation standpoint. As far as the people that are interested today, what we had on the plans is every lot, we planned on setting a cam, whether they were active or not, because when you're there, you know, put it to all the foreseeable locations. Some would be used, like KIPS would be used right away, potentially Nest may be right away, others might not be used for years. We did the same thing on Ranch Drive. We ran the water line down one side of the road, we dug across it where we had to put cams and connections to every lot. Those lots haven't all paid for those connections yet, but we did it all at once when it was a lot more cost effective. And so we would propose to do the same thing here, but regardless of what side the water line's on, we would cut across and run services to all of the available lots so that when the current or future owners wanted access, we had the infrastructure in place. And so without having seen the gas line, I don't know if I don't have a recommendation on whether or not we need to move it to the other side of the road. If the gas line is where you're saying it is, then I would agree that the plan I have would put the water line right underneath the gas line, and that's not gonna work. It's not impossible, but it got a lot more expensive.
But we won't know until the field.
Just get sparkling water.
If you are forced to cross the road, how do you handle that with the contractor and his bid?
There would be a change order. And so the change order would be in the fittings and then the asphalt. And so we have a square foot price on the asphalt, so that one would be fairly easy to figure. And the fittings have a cost and a markup, so.
The asphalt would stay the same, you have to cross the road anyway to go over to KIPS. So if you cross the road, just up the road a little bit.
Good point, because we're putting services in, the asphalt may stay the same, so we may be talking about a couple fittings. But regardless, we have a cost for asphalt, and we would negotiate a cost for fittings.
And then we have, is it F?
Yeah.
And I thought that we had pretty much, he had stated that he would participate in this new pipeline.
Only for a certain amount.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's committed to 30.
And now he's not gonna do that?
Oh, I don't know that. I haven't met with him since he committed, so.
Okay.
I don't have
talked
his
to him
money,
just before we
so.
committed. And
Do you have any
he says
signs?
that
Nope.
he's looking,
Yeah.
that the water line is more expensive to him than a well. They'll see the $35 a month, you know, for the water.
So this probably isn't a good time to bring up your daughter-in-law that called me. You already have it a lot over your way. Okay. You might have a water hookup, you just don't know it.
Another question about the right of way is if it ends up not being right on the edge of the asphalt, is it gonna, if it moves over, are we gonna end up incurring cost of fencing and landscaping and driveways and all that stuff as we go down that side of the street?
Potentially.
Oh,
I need to look at the blue stakes. So we had already planned on crossing the driveway, so whether you cross the driveway at the asphalt or 5 feet back probably doesn't change things very much. The landscaping, at least the very first part, was already part of it, so whether you dig up this 5 feet or that 5 feet, I think that's the same. It would become the fencing, which there's some fencing that's already well within the right of way, and that becomes a question of what do we do with that? Do we, you know, are we allowing new fences to be built within the right of way? And if we have to take it down, do we put it back? Do we put it back in the right of way, or do we put it back on the right of way where we're supposed to be? Those are all good questions that would need to be answered before we proceed. So we have I think a lot of, I
A
don't
lot
think
of
we're as
research
close,
to do still, huh?
I don't think we're as close to going as people think we are just because there's paint on the ground.
Okay.
The paint on the ground was an attempt to determine whether or not what utility company sent me was correct. And it sounds like it wasn't, but I'm hearing is correct.
Well, I can see Rex's point, it might be cheaper to run it down the other side of the road, and if it's just open field. I can also see your point of keeping it clean and all on the same side of the road.
Yeah, I just know, I worked in a lot of other municipalities, and right now it's easy to say, well, it's easier here and it's easier there. And when we did the design last time, we worked really hard on picking one side of the road or the other, and then stick with it even through the areas that got tight, because if you make a habit of crossing, you've just made it almost impossible to put anything else anywhere in that corridor in the future.
Yep.
And I know we have no plans for anything new until we do.
Yep. Tell somebody sells a piece
Problem
of
is
property.
there's already things in that corridor too.
Well, so we have to work within, it's always a balance. And I don't know that the other side of the road isn't the better option. What I had on my utility maps, what I had worked and made the most sense.
Perfect.
When the utilities get mapped differently, we change our mind.
See, and Ryan's really good. I've been out on a few of these after we get contractors turning in a change order. First thing out of Ryan's mouth is, well, here's the contract, what changed? Okay, who approved that change? So he really watches out for the town, so
Right.
he's a tough one, tough nut to crack, and he watches out for the town, so thank you. Behalf of the town, that's awesome. Okay, so we still have, keep them when you've been here. What do you want to do on this application? I mean, site plan's pretty easy. We're discussing the site plan.
Motion to,
We didn't finish the motion.
we did.
Ryan can't take a motion.
I started to, but yeah, I don't get to do that. So, I tried, you made a motion, I saw 3 heads nod, but I was told that doesn't count.
So I'm asking you, what do we want to do? How do you want to proceed? You have done that prior, and so the site plan,
We've done it on the site plan before.
the site plan is the issue of, is the setback, so clearly that's, I think, one of the easiest things to negate, but whatever you guys want to do is this one's up to you guys. So at this point, we'll entertain a motion and discuss it, if you want to discuss it.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Make it again, Jay.
Okay, I move that we continue this until next planning meeting, so we can see the site.
Okay,
A
I
second.
have a motion, I have a second. Discussion on the motion. Caught up, we good? No discussion? Okay, call for the vote, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, 5-1.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Okay, this will continue to our next planning commission meeting. Okay. That takes us to item number 6, approval of the April minutes.
Did you get to the, I had one question about the meetings that you're having, the Twin Creeks meetings for interconnected
We're
service and
past
water
that,
service.
sorry, we're past that.
Ask.
What we did is, no, we're not past that. I work for you. We met with Ron from Twin Creeks. We was looking at getting, we talked earlier about the Billy Beather system and whether the town would incorporate that system and put a water line to serve as Storm Haven. And that would be one of our transmission area lines and be able to service those people. They're at capacity right now. But in amongst, we talked probably a year ago, 2 years ago. They have applied for a grant, they've got the engineering done, and in fact, the bid is in the back of the way for a 12-inch water line to go down Mill Road, and then up the highway, all the way to Little Sweden Road and tie that system in. 12-inch water line from Twin Creeks.
Who just applied for the grant?
Twin Creeks. And so they secured the grant, and it's in the design phase, and that's actually out to bid, it's probably past design phase now, it's out to bid up. So it's out to bid, they're down the road a ways with that, they're not interested in Daniel using that system, or enhancing that
So
system.
they're going to,
There's a 12-inch water line.
so they're gonna take care of Storm Haven?
No,
No, no.
no. It's going, they're talking about the
Twin
Billy
Creeks.
Beather system.
Oh,
So Billy Beathers is being expanded?
It will be able to be expanded. They're on a 12-inch line and interconnecting with the
So-
Billy Beather system.
okay,
So
so
that's-
Twin Creeks is all that.
So that's really everything.
They did.
Town
They-
north of
Okay.
Yeah, they
Mill
did.
Road up Little Sweden is on that system, right?
Right. Yeah, from Mill Road all the way up through even our town, where you're at.
Yeah,
That's all Twin Creeks, so
well, I know that, I just wondered.
I was just telling Jay where Twin Creeks went. I knew you'd know that. You write the check. So that they have taken care of their shortfall, so they're not interested in the town doing that.
So, coming off of Billy Beathers, they're in expand Billy Beathers going down Mill Road, and where are they picking up?
No, it's going down Mill Road and then up the highway corridor, all the way to Little Sweden Road, and we'll interconnect there.
Okay,
So not in the town.
And that's to service the Billy Baylor system.
Right, because it was a capacity. Remember, we had one of the residents that got the last hookup up there on one of those,
so that line running up the highway will tie in with the existing Billy Beathers to feed that system?
correct.
Oh, got it.
And then there's the and sewer at the end of that. What's the sewer part of that?
Well, we met with them and we talked about the sewer, and that line across Mill Road is all in the Twin Creeks area. So it's serviced by sewer, because it's in the Twin Creek area. And so that, the way that works is the application comes to the town, and then the town does the negotiation with Twin Creeks to hook into that sewer line, which is also across the highway. It already goes up to the trailer park on the other side of the
So is
highway.
that in negotiations or is it just in pondering?
No, it's done. We're in that area. So
So that's gonna take care of Storm Haven's sewer problem?
it doesn't go that far.
Okay,
It may
stops at
someday.
Little
so
Sweden.
that's still
Yeah,
high in scope.
Right,
That
so-
was part of the discussion was someday will that work?
right. And so we didn't even know it was an option, so we met with them and discussed what they was offering and what they, as a special service district, what,
But that's the only portion of the town that's in the Twin Creeks
yes,
district.
And the sewer is up to the trailer park now,
it is. Yeah, it's servicing that trailer park on the other
but it
side.
doesn't go past the trailer park.
Does not yet. But if you've been in the meetings I've been in and seen the plans for the, further up the highway, I believe that 12-inch will be serviced. It will be out of date pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. It's a 12-inch sewer line?
No,
Yeah.
water
Water
line.
line.
Okay. What size is the sewer?
I don't know that one.
I think it's still only an 8, but I don't know that for sure.
Really?
It can get replaced.
Okay.
You're talking about all the development in Independence?
Yeah. Yeah, the Independence map shows commercial and residential and a bunch of roads off the highway. I mean, a lot bigger than what we're discussing here tonight.
Oh, yeah.
600 vehicles. Yeah, it's huge, so.
Does this Twin Creek sewer crossing into Daniels city limits open a door for other municipalities to bring sewer into Daniels?
No, it does exactly the opposite. You can't bring sewer from another municipality into a special service district. If the town of Daniel had its own sewer, it's already serviced by this district. And so when you go to, that's all protected and then they went and got the grants, that's why you have that. It's all protected as their area. So if you encroach on that, then you have to go through the courts. If you're encroaching on that area, potentially, if you can't work it out, you'll end up in court. And so that's why the process is, they apply to the town, and then the town negotiates with Twin Creeks. Typically, what that means is Twin Creeks charges this much, the town tacks on their administration fees, and charges the customer that. That's how it works in the real world.
I was just curious
Yes.
if that's opening the door to more smaller lot availabilities because there is a sewer service.
That's a
Sewer
great,
service
yep, that's a great
being offered
concern.
close to our
And that-
borders.
Right, and that takes us right back to what I said about the health department. Don't hang your zoning on the septic requirement, because things change. We have micro systems now, I mean, everything changes. Your zoning should be based on the things that ours is based on. the values along your general plan, all the things that we talked about. Not to hang, because that's what happened in the county, they went RA5 because it was one septic per 5. But it doesn't hold up.
That's gone way over the
Yeah.
years, apparently.
Yeah, if
I've
that,
been
anything.
rumored, hearing scuttlebutt about it, but.
And the town does have, if you look on the zoning map up above there, above the red barn, we have RA1 on that side of the highway. Well, to be able to develop that, they're gonna have to run that sewer line up there, so. And there's some interest looking at up that way right now, so, I mean, as that land becomes more and more valuable, it becomes feasible.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a busy little page, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, so approval of minutes, April 18th. Everybody get a chance to review those? Any corrections or additions? Seeing none?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for April 18th.
There is one, Tricia, we've got Tricia Zanger, her name is Tricia Steiner.
Steiner.
Steiner, S-T-E-I-N. Tricia Steiner.
E-I-N-E-R.
Uh-huh,
Okay, I'll pick that.
Steiner,
Okay,
I don't think she signed in,
probably not.
so I didn't have,
Yeah, I did never. No, that's who she is.
Okay.
okay, so does your motion stand with that correction?
Yes.
Okay, looking for a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote, all in favor?
Right.
Motion approved. Those are approved. Okay, item number 7, motion to adjourn.
Who's turn?
I motion to adjourn.
Okay, got a motion, is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Always.
We stand adjourned till our next meeting. Motion carried. Before 9:30,
Which one?
4 minutes before.